What's up, Hoop fans? Welcome to 1716, the most entertaining hour of basketball banter you'll hear each week. I'm your host, David, a Boston Celtics fan. Joining us this week, he's not wearing any Lakers gear because he knew we were talking about the playoffs and they're just not going to be there. So we have Lamar, our Lakers fan.
Did you say the Lakers are not going to be in the playoffs?
Also joining us this week, excited about the opening week because they're going to be playing the Suns, which is probably their biggest game of the season. Jeremy, the Dallas Mavericks fan, is with us.
That's cool. 1-0. We're going to be 1-0.
I'm going to go ahead and backpedal right away. I don't believe either of those things I just said. On this week's show, a pretty fun week. I'm pretty excited for this week, the topics that we have. Of course, we got some recent news where we're going to talk about the opening week, the Christmas games. Second quarter, we're going to be chatting about our early playoff seed predictions. ESPN has been going wild with some predictions that they had, and we are going to give our thoughts on where people are going to land. In the third quarter, we're going to be talking about the greatest small forwards of all time, which promises to be a very violent quarter. Don't miss out. On the fourth quarter, players/teams ain't loyal. Now, let's jump into our first quarter. Let's talk right about the biggest news, and that is the games that were announced. Special days were announced. I want to talk first just about opening week. May I take the floor for just a moment?
You have it.
Opening the 2018-2019 season. The first game is the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics. And I know, Lamar, it's just one game, right? That's what you always say. Unless your team wins. But I'm kidding. Anyway, it's just one game, right? However, last year, first game, 5 minutes in.
That was pretty bad.
I need to get through a quarter.
And you lost it. You lost it that night.
Yeah, I remember that. I did.
I remember you lost it.
I didn't talk to anyone.
Felt bad for you.
For about 24, 36 hours, whatever it was. Didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm very excited for the season. That is October 18th. Ooh, the show is going to be... We're going to be in it by then. I'm so excited for when we get around that time.
It's going to be live.
But in the first week of the season, the Celtics play the Sixers and the Raptors, our two top contenders. I think that obviously it's the first week. It doesn't really matter, but it's still going to be like great competition, I think. How's Kawhi going to play against a team that's really good? Is he going to come out right away giving his all? I mean, there's going to be so much to unpack after the first week of Celtic basketball. That's not even getting into everybody else that's going to be. Also, opening night, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are going to go at it. Is that still a thing?
To me, it's not.
Not with the teams as they're currently constructed.
Whoa. You don't think the Thunder can compete at all in regular season?
Anything.
Is that what you were saying?
Season, yeah.
No, I'm just talking about if we're talking the teams that the Warriors are still better by far than the Thunder. Even with the Thunder making some upgrades, I think. Right. Even by letting go of a player, but I can't
wait.
I'm
joking. By letting go of Melo, they got better.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened.
The Rockets got better by getting Melo, huh?
I do. I think the Rockets got better by getting Melo.
Yeah, okay. Well,
we'll
hang on to that thought for just a minute.
So,
KD Russ, is that still a rivalry though?
To Russ.
Yeah, to Russ.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not a rivalry anymore. I mean, that first year was really, really good because KD was fresh off of it, but now it's.
Right. No, I got you. So, hey, real quick, I just want to ask. Your Mavericks open up against the Suns. Yeah, the Suns who we've talked about, weren't they your surprise team this year?
Yeah, we're going to beat them. So.
You're going to beat them in opening night?
Yep.
Or in second night?
Absolutely.
Will you finish above them by the end of the season?
Yeah.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
You think Luka is that good?
We'll see.
Yeah, you hoping.
Man ain't even been on the TV a hot minute.
I kind of want to go back and redo that intro. That's a funnier intro than what I said.
Luka.
The Mavericks are going to make the play, or not make the play, are going to finish above the Suns. All right, anyway.
Yeah.
So, Lamar, now I don't know if this is the full schedule. This is just the opening week TV schedule. So this might not be your first home game. How do you feel about the first home game against the Houston Rockets? Your second team. Wow, your two teams facing off against each other in the first week of the season. Which one do you want to win?
I always want the Lakers to win.
Okay, gotcha. So how do you feel about that?
Rockets.
Because that's like, to me at least, when season end comes, I think those two teams are going to be who's the better of the two against the Warriors.
Oh, wow.
Because you know what I think. I think the Rockets are going to be the 2 seed. I think the Lakers are going to be the 3 seed.
Look, I love my Lakers, but I don't see us finishing that high because we don't have enough shooters around yet. So that's really my main thing. Plus, we don't know who our starting point guard is. We don't know how the bench is going to roll.
You're getting into some second quarter stuff.
I'm just saying.
So hold on to some of those thoughts.
But let me say this. I am interested to see James Harden go against Ball a little bit. And if Ball is going to back down, does that mean we immediately go to Rondo and then Ball's,
wow.
I'm just saying. I'm curious.
That's different than what we've heard from you recently.
Because Lonzo Ball's got to know it's put up or shut up this season.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
What you gonna
do?
do?
Luke Walton would pull the switch that quick.
It might be the beginning of the pull.
Okay, I see you.
Just saying.
So moving on from opening week, maybe the bigger stuff. NBA Christmas. This is what I love. You can watch 12 hours of basketball. There are 5 games. A quintuple lineup. Bucks Knicks.
No.
Now this one, go ahead.
I was gonna say the Knicks, and obviously they're one of the more popular franchises, but I don't see how they get.
It's
Christmas
New York.
game.
It's New York.
It's terrible.
Okay.
Like you got Kawhi Leonard, fresh with the Raptors. I would much rather see Kawhi Leonard with the Raptors.
So I was listening to it on the way home today. Last season, obviously Giannis is internationally one of the most popular players in the league.
Right.
So they probably want to prioritize him over a guy who hasn't spoken in about a year. Have we confirmed with his uncle that he can still talk?
But he can play. They could have played against each other.
I get that.
I get what you're saying. Though.
But last season, Giannis dunked over a Knicks player in New York.
Right, and that was the only time the Knicks were relevant the whole year. But besides Porzingis getting hurt, but okay, go ahead.
And he was involved in that play. Mm-hmm. So I think when you take New York, because I get it, Toronto is also a big city, but it's not New York.
Right.
New York is New York.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to feature your bigger teams on that night or that day. For an opener where people are still opening presents, probably not sitting down to watch basketball, I think it's okay.
Well, also, if you look at these matchups, they're very close geographically to each other.
Yes.
So I really think, which is smart by their commissioner, he's trying to keep them close to each other so they can get back home to their families.
For their families.
Things like that. I wish the NFL would take note of some of that stuff, man. I do.
Remember I said on a show way back that I wanted to see Kyrie, LeBron on Christmas. I want to see Celtics, Lakers on Christmas.
That's right.
But then when I see this, it's like,
it makes sense.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Because for some families, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Because you're way across the country.
Absolutely.
Second game is Thunder Rockets. Should be a good game. By Christmas time, both teams should be, the gears should be turning. I mean, you would hope for teams that are going to finish in the top 5 that the gears are turning.
I think it depends on Russ, because if Westbrook can be a better overall point guard as far as he's got to manage the team better, then they could play with the Rockets, but not as if he plays how we all pretty much know he's gonna play it.
If he ain't changed by now, he ain't not changed.
Yeah. So Bucks next, the Bucks will win. So Thunder Rockets, you're taking Rockets.
Absolutely.
You're taking
I'll
Rockets.
go Rockets, yeah.
I mean, I'm not dumb. The Rockets are at home. There you go. The third game, Sixers Celtics.
That's gonna be a good one.
It'll be a good one. The Celtics will win. But
you don't think you guys can have a problem with Joel Embiid and?
I'm not saying that we're not going to have a problem, but in the playoffs we went 4-1 and we've got exponentially better, and they did not.
Did y'all do that well in the season 2 when y'all played the Sixers?
I don't know for sure. Okay. I couldn't answer that.
Gotcha.
But regardless, we are way better than we were when we played them because our second best player is now hopefully on the court. So.
And the Sixers' first round pick has a broken foot.
The
one they traded for.
From Texas Tech, man.
That's our guy. So the Sixers either didn't get any better. Well, And their young players will continue to develop, so they should get better. But, I mean, when you take the Celtics and you put on, like, obviously we still have Kyrie, but, like, in the playoffs where we went 4-1, we didn't have Kyrie. And then we had Gordon Hayward. Be down.
Well, see, I think the biggest thing is the Sixers coach. I mean, let's just be real. That's how the Celtics beat them that bad, because Brad Stevens was running circles around him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Circles.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the Sixers because I was like, they should be more competitive, but they weren't.
Lakers, Warriors.
Yeah,
They're just giving us LeBron versus Warriors on every big game of the year.
Warriors gonna blow them out. Sorry.
I agree.
Warriors gonna blow them out. It's gonna be hard to watch on Christmas. It's gonna be really hard. But
you don't think LeBron can stop a blowout like that?
Nope.
I guess he didn't do it.
It's a bad matchup.
They're gonna take him out and send him home early.
It's a really bad matchup for us. Like,
well, hey,
the two teams together. It's a bad.
Then that means people can head to bed early, because no one wants to watch Blazers Jazz.
Right.
You want to go to Utah for Christmas? Come on now. Salt Lake City.
Stop it.
They are.
What's in Salt Lake City?
They are praying that Donovan Mitchell has another good year, and they are hoping that the Blazers.
Well, wait, hang on.
Oh, that's the matchup in the playoffs where the Jazz swept the Blazers. I totally forgot. Whoa!
No, that was
I keep
Pelicans.
getting those two teams.
No,
swept.
Pelicans swept the Blazers.
I'm sorry, my fault.
Yeah, Pelicans swept the Blazers.
Yeah.
That's going to be an irrelevant game. No one cares about that.
But I will say, look, obviously we'll talk about later how the Jazz been elevated too high, but they're going to be a solid team.
No, don't you
they're going
put
to be
that
a solid
on me.
team.
What do you mean they've been elevated too high? I don't think they've been elevated too high.
We're going to talk about the predictions.
They're like the
playoff seed projections in a
said
second.
15.
Stop it. I'm just saying they have a solid squad.
All right. So those are the games. Those are the important games that were announced. Lamar, I need you to talk to us about something.
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony officially signed with the Houston Rockets.
That's right.
How, why, who, where, and what? Yeah, that was difficult to get way out of order like that. Who, what, when, where, why, how are they better?
Let me tell you why they're better. What do the Rockets do well?
They shoot.
But style of basketball.
Shoot threes.
Okay. But if you say
run and gun,
this is our style of actually, it's really more so isolation
I
basketball.
definitely didn't think about the word ISO until
right.
Right.
Who's one of the best isolation basketball players in the league? Carmelo Anthony.
In the past, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. I'm just right now in the league. He's still a good isolation player.
Yeah, but
he can't move the ball around.
The words that came out of your mouth went from one of the best to good. That's a big gap.
I would still say when it comes to Carmelo Anthony, he's one of the best isolation basketball players. But the problem is everything else he's bad at.
Are you going off of his legacy, like off of his history, or off of like what we've seen recently?
No, okay. It was only 2 years ago that he was still a great isolation
how much
basketball
has
player.
He gotten?
Oh, completely agree. Again, if he comes, I agree. No. If he comes in out of shape, by all means, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anything. Okay. It's all off bets.
If he comes in out of shape, never mind. Keep going.
But my thing is, I think he's gonna be motivated to come into shape because he's hearing all this stuff now. No one believes in him except for Houston brass, kinda. You know, so.
Is he making any different money because people believe in him?
But Houston, wait, no. See, Atlanta's paying the majority of that money. Houston's only giving him this much, and if it doesn't work out, they're going to cut him.
But is someone still paying him? If he's still getting paid, what's his motivation to come in?
Hey, talk to the league about guaranteed contracts, because I want to know how Melo's getting that kind of money. But I really do think with this way, they have another guy. Plus, you want to make sure Chris Paul doesn't get injured again, okay? Mm-hmm. So you've got another guy to dominate offensively in that isolation style. Right. So it makes them better. Now, will they give up more points? You best believe they will. But they just think it's the D'Antoni thing. They can outscore everybody, and in the regular season, that works well for him. When it gets to the playoffs, it's not going to make it. Period.
I have nothing else to add. I just don't think...
So you still
I think they took a step back.
We'll get to that.
But we'll get to that. But I don't see it. I'm looking at it on the defensive end. You got James Harden, who's a defensive liability. You got Melo, who's a defensive liability.
That's a lot of defensive liabilities.
That's two defensive liabilities.
But if you can score 130 every game, not every team in the league can score 130
That's
every
true,
game.
but the standard is the Warriors.
Plus, you just
play the Warriors every game.
That's true.
Plus,
but
think about it.
When push come to shove, they're going to be playing the Warriors. That's the standard of the NBA.
And you just paid your two top guys, Capella and Chris Paul, who are your defensive guys. So they're putting pressure on them to play defense and essentially cover up for all the mistakes that's going to happen.
A lot of covering up.
So I'm just saying.
It's a lot of covering up.
I'm just saying. But Capella made a lot of good plays at the basket last year.
I'm not saying he did a bad job.
So we'll see. I don't know.
All right, last thing I wanted to talk about this first quarter was Tony Parker's thank you to San Antonio. Now, I see y'all making your faces, okay? Tony Parker, if you didn't know, on the Players Tribune, he did his thank you to San Antonio, probably like that on the river. That's probably where he was when he was writing it, let's be honest. It was nice. So he talked about how he had the opportunity for Pop to make a second impression, because his first impression, the first time he came over from France, he was jet lagged and had a terrible workout. Pop called him back, let him come in, obviously drafted him in the first round of that draft. He played through 17 seasons. He talked about how he came in and he had people like David Robinson, and they're trying to win now, but they were also focusing on his development, making sure that he was developing, and how that's just the Spurs way. And then talked about the big three and how in 2003 when Tim Duncan was going off, that was okay with him and Manu. And in 2005 when Ginobili was going off, that was okay with Tim and him. And in 2007 when Parker got to start doing his own way, that was okay with Tim and Manu. And then in 2014, when this new guy, Kawhi, comes around, that was potentially the happiest for all three of them. And just talked about that's the Spurs way. And what's the Spurs way? He talked about Tim Duncan. It was really good. I enjoyed the read. I'm also a partial Spurs fan. This is my backup team. Named after my dad. I'm a junior, so it counts. I was born in San Antonio. You can't say anything to me about that. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I know y'all don't care. Any words to say about the Hall of Famer, Tony Parker?
Good luck in Charlotte.
What he said was that if anyone's looking for a second team to root for in the East, to cheer for the Hornets, because he's gonna give they're gonna give him hell. And I was like,
give who? Oh, okay.
Give who?
I don't see him and Kemba Walker playing.
You think he could mentor Kemba? Because that's what Kemba needs.
But is Kemba the type of player that's gonna listen to Tony Parker?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But what I just said, that's what Kemba needs.
Kemba's got
will he
a
accept
dog
it,
in him. You know, Kemba's a dog. You know, I don't think he. But you know what? I was wrong when Harden and Paul got together, and you know, look at the damage they did. So
that's different.
Yeah, obviously they're elevated. They're on a different level. But I'm just saying. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, that's all the. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I mean, he's a class personified. As a Mavericks fan, I've seen a lot of Tony Parker. Mm-hmm. So
thankful. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter that he's gone now because you guys aren't competing anymore.
Doesn't matter. But
talking about Spurs and Mavericks, I wasn't just talking about how the Mavericks don't make the playoffs. Or haven't made the playoffs. Sorry, used the wrong word there.
There used to be some good battles.
Yeah, they did.
With Spurs and Mavs. Those were some good games.
But no,
and it was mostly just Dirk.
Yeah, much respect.
Going against the big three and Pop.
Well, no, when back when they had Nash and Finley, they gave a little bit of a run.
Oh,
Don Nelson just messed that one up.
I'm sorry.
Heart hurts right now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go there.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to do it to you.
So, that is all the recent news that I can think of. Obviously, on all of our social media stuff, you can interact with us, chat with us, let us know what you think about the recent news as it comes out, as we post it.